So I just want to like demystify this internet marketing thing. Like, I'll just give you the 5 pieces of a funnel. You need a free opt-in so you get leads for cheap. And this way, if they don't buy right away, you can also retarget and send more emails and things to get them to buy later, right?
Take out your notes, guys. Start
so it's 5 things, ready? 5 buckets. You need the free opt-in. Then you need the some sort of like physical thing you can ship, like a book. It doesn't have to be a book, but it should be like a book. That would be the ideal. Then you need an upsell to, you can have multiple, but you should have at least one upsell to a single standalone one-time payment product up to $97. Anything above that, it gets harder and harder to sell. You can do it, but it just depends on your niche and what you're selling and to who, and the quality of your traffic. So I would say up to $97. Then I don't actually have this yet, but I'm building it with Stu McLaren, and his method is having a membership continuity offer. So that'd be the 4th bucket, is getting people on a regular, consistent basis. Because if you can get 1,000 people paying $49 a month, what else do you have to do, right? Anything else you decide to do after that is gravy. And then finally, you have a high ticket offer. And I recommend having the first one and the 5th one first. So that's the first one being the free piece of value, so you can generate leads and just start a conversation with people, and then have a high ticket program. And then the middle piece to connect all of it is sales, is you getting on the phone one-on-one with people to continually get better at closing deals, at enrolling people, and invest in that skill, because that's going to bring in the most money and give you the most ROI on your time in the beginning. If you're messing around and you're just starting and you're trying to build a whole scalable ascension funnel, it's too much too soon. So start with thing 1 and thing 5, but have in the back of your mind, like, I'm eventually going to create a book. I'm going to create a one-time offer, and I'm going to create a continuity offer to marry that gap. So now I can have these 5 things cranking, have a webinar that's going. And then by the time people show up on my calendar, they're already pre-indoctrinated. They've read my book. They've taken some of our courses. They've watched our webinar, and they're ready to buy. And that's the dream, right? I don't want to get on the phone with anybody who's a tire kicker. I don't want to get on the phone with anybody who hasn't read my stuff or doesn't know who I am. And I don't want to worry about anybody who is really just not serious about building your business. I have a limited amount of time on this earth. I'm going to spend it with people that want to do things and invest in themselves and not just talk about it.
I mean, that's awesome. And I'll add to it, guys. It ultimately starts with your core offer. What he's talking about with high ticket, it's a reverse engineer. The core offer is where you want to build your business around. The front end part that he's talking about, that front end part, the hook, is how you're getting people in. You're giving them what they want, and the high ticket, the core offer, is what they need, if that makes sense, right? Because people don't realize they need it, and you don't want to force something on somebody that doesn't know yet.
Even if you tell them, like, hey, I know that you need sales, like, that's going to be the key thing. Nobody wants to hear that.
Exactly.
And everybody's going to put that off for years. They'll do it. Exactly. They'll get by and they'll struggle and they'll never really scale up because they just don't know how to bring money in the door. They don't know how to turn no's into yeses, or they do so much work to talk to so many people that they're just leaving tons of money on the table thinking, oh, well, I have a pretty decent conversion rate. I'm converting 10 or 20%. You can convert 50% of the people you talk to. That's when you know you're dialed.